this. Okay, I knew I listen. I'm gonna get like flamed and roasted and fried today because of my incorrect assessment of one C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans. Because as the great Ron White said, that's profiling, and profiling is wrong. And I was ever so wrong about the Texans. But I was a Niners fan. LeBron, will you please stop telling that lie? Dear God. He flipped. I'm not even going to do it. Let's go.
On your mark, get set. Let's go.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up?
Good morning. Kevin Durant, you should have left California.
This bronsexual upset me in having to bring this teenage idiot from Wisconsin into a sports conversation. Are you really surprised that the Cowboys are giving up on Ezekiel Elliott?
Whoa. Hell no! Well, no one cares about baseball.
Bitch, are you for real?
Explain that. I get new equipment. I put other equipment in place, and that happens. All right. Now we got everything set. Good morning. Welcome to the Tripped Out Thursday edition of Snowman in the Morning. Glad to have y'all with us. And Happy New Year, everybody. Shut up. 11:07 is your time, 7 minutes after the hour. Yeah, we're going to be off the rails today. I am warning all of that right now. We are going to be totally off the rails. I feel it coming. Let's go. This is the Whip Around presented by Fanatics. We start with the University of Washington, where the Huskies will be seeking a national championship against Big Ten, soon-to-be Big Ten foe Michigan. And Kalen DeBoer says they expect a pretty smooth transition to the Big Ten. Well, we're going to find out. J.J. McCarthy of the Michigan Wolverines says the players did things the right way. And I'm happy he said that, because they certainly did the right way in taking down Nick Saban and Alabama. and I never thought I'd say this aloud because I'm a Big Ten fan myself, that being from Chicago, and I'm a Northwestern fan, but I got to say this aloud. Thank you, Michigan Wolverines. The coin flip snafu of Jaire Alexander has landed him a suspension. Jaire Alexander expected to be fined. He knew some discipline was coming, even warranted, after disregarding the Green Bay Packers coach Mike LaFleur's direction before the opening coin toss at Carolina. When Alexander trotted out to midfield as a captain, even though he was not a captain, it was on brand with the goofball antics he's carried with himself this season. The unique sunglasses, the wrestling champion belts, the swag, like he's playing a character in the NFL, a comic book figure, never too serious. This was the last straw. The Packers had enough. General manager Brian Gutekunst and LaFleur used one of the strongest disciplinary moves at their disposal with a start with the star player, suspending the top cornerback in a game they needed him most, a decision Alexander didn't expect. I thought maybe I would get fined, Alexander said. The week away from the facilities wasn't easy. It gave him time to train, something he did throughout last week, knowing he'd be back for the regular season finale. And he says he vows to learn from the coin flip snafu. You better, because the Packers are going to need you when y'all go to the offseason. Try to make the playoffs. Did I say something aloud? Then you got this. The Lakers mull to right the ship and fast. Darvin Ham said, quote, "It's a little bit of everything right now. We're not executing. The team played hard. That team, the Miami Heat, played harder than us tonight, executed better than us, more physical than us tonight. We got outworked tonight. So it's a bit of everything right now. If we keep on this train, it's not going to be good for us," close quote. And they lost, the Lakers did, 110-96. They have gone 2-8 in its past 10 to fall to number 10 in the Western Conference. Good. Keep falling. Last but not Warriors Gary Payton II, I beg your pardon, set to miss several weeks with a hamstring strain. Boy, they are going to miss him. Last but not least, the foot of Zach LaVine is progressing very well, according to Billy Donovan. They expect LaVine back in a few weeks. We'll see how that goes. That's a whip around presented by Fanatics. Coming up next, the Pro Bowl rosters have been announced. And there's a team that had 9 Pro Bowlers. Tell you who that team is when y'all get back. Snowman in the morning, back in a flash.
Attention sports fans, looking for the ultimate gear and apparel to show your team pride? Look no further than Fanatics, the #1 destination for sports enthusiasts. Visit snowmanmultimediasports.com today and shop a wide selection of officially licensed merchandise from your favorite teams and players. From jerseys to hats to accessories to collectibles, Fanatics has it all. Don't miss out on the chance to elevate your game day experience. Head over to snowmanmultimediasports.com/fanatics and gear up like a true fan with Fanatics. Officially licensed everything. Are you ready to upgrade your coffee game? Prepare for an invasion of flavor with Invader Coffee. It's the caffeinated elixir that fuels champions, the blend that pushes boundaries. Whether you're battling deadlines or exploring uncharted territories, Invader Coffee has your back. Join the invasion at invadercoffee.com and taste the difference for yourself. Use the code SNOWMAN for 15% off your first order. Invader Coffee, veteran owned.
Hey, Eagles fan. Join my man Cool McCain and a host of others as they break down every single game, every single week in an objective manner, and also from a fan's perspective as well. Remember, this cast feels just like you. Nobody likes you. And you don't care. Fly, Eagles, fly. Eagles Elite Podcast. Every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and other podcast outlets.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
The Thursday edition of Snowman in the Morning is brought to you in part by BetUS.com. Sports bettors, listen up. Your favorite sports book, BetUS.com, is back in our 30th year of action with live in-game betting, incredible odds with daily odds boosters, props and parlays. Read that wrong. Fast payouts and exceptional one-to-one customer service. We got it all. And when you sign up and use the code Snowman, you will get a 125% deposit match. Log on to betus.com or call 800-792-3887. That's 800-79-BET-US. BetUS.com, where the game begins. Join us in the Fanatics Feedback Zone. We will read your comments on the air. We are driven by the fans. We are for the fans. And this is the best sports talk show on the planet. Glad to have y'all with us. Well, the Pro Bowl rosters have been announced, and there's one team that led the way with 9 all-star players. And when you know it, it just happened to be the San Francisco 49ers. 9 players, including 8 starters, selected for the 2024 Pro Bowl games, and I hope none of them play because we're trying to get to Vegas. The league announced rosters for the NFC and AFC on Wednesday. Players from both conferences will compete in skills competitions on Thursday, February 1st, culminating with a flag football game on Sunday, February 4th at Camping World Stadium in Orlando, Florida. The NFL eliminated its full contact all-star game in 2022, which I believe is bleeping stupid. Ravens and Cowboys at 7 apiece, Dolphins and Eagles at 6, Cleveland Browns and Kansas City and the Detroit Lions all had 5, were among the top teams with 5 or more Pro Bowl selections. Here are the selections from the 49ers. Quarterback Brock Purdy, RB Christian McCaffrey, Kyle Juszczyk, the fullback, George the Animal Kittle, offensive tackle Trent Williams, defensive end Nick Bosa, defensive lineman Javon Hargrave, linebacker Fred Warner, and cornerback Shavarius Moody Ward were named to the NFC roster. This is the 11th Pro Bowl selection for Williams, the most among active players. This is Juszczyk's 8th, the most ever for a fullback. Purdy and the Dolphins' Tua Tagovailoa are destined as starting quarterbacks from their respective conferences, marking the first time since the 2000 Pro Bowl, Peyton Manning and Kurt Warner, that 2 first-time Pro Bowl selections were named starters. I love it. Aaron Donald of the Rams became the first defensive lineman since 1970 to make the Pro Bowl in each of his first 10 seasons. Tyreek Hill is the first wide receiver to be selected to the Pro Bowl in each of his first 8 seasons. This is the first time that both Jason and Travis, the 6th time, I beg your pardon, that both Jason and Travis Kelce have been selected to the Pro Bowl in the same season. Travis Kelce was selected for his 9th, trailing Tony Gonzalez with 14, Jason Witten with 11 for most selections among tight ends. We go further. There are 28 first-time Pro Bowl selections, including rookie Sam Laporta from the Lions, Marvin Mims from the Denver Broncos, Puka Nacua from the Rams, who's I think is going to be Rookie of the Year, and Devin Witherspoon from the Seattle Seahawks. The roster selections were determined by the consensus votes of fans, players, and coaches. For the second consecutive year, Peyton and Eli Manning will serve as coaches for the Pro Bowl games. Peyton will coach the AFC team, with Eli serving as the NFC coach. Ray Lewis will be the defensive coordinator for the AFC, while DeMarcus Ware will handle that role for the NFC. Take a look at this Pro Bowl roster. We'll start with the AFC, your quarterbacks are Tua Tagovailoa, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes. Running back Raheem Mostert, who will start for the Dolphins. James Cook from the Bills and Derrick Henry from the Tennessee Titans, with the fullback being Alec Ingold from the Dolphins. He, of course, will start. Your starting wide receivers are Tyreek Hill and Amari Cooper. Backups Keenan Allen from the San Diego Chargers and Jamar Chase from the Cincinnati Bengals. Starting tight end for the AFC is Travis Kelce. David Njoku from the Cleveland Browns gets a vote at tight end for the AFC as well. Your offensive tackles go Laramie Tunsil and Deion Dawkins from the Texans and Bills. And congrats to Laramie Tunsil with all that he's gone through and the Texans have gone through. And I'm going to get roasted for it later. Tunsil gets a Pro Bowl selection. Deion Dawkins from the Buffalo Bills gets an All-Stars, gets a Pro Bowl selection. I said All-Star. Teron Armstead from the Dolphins is the alternate. Your guards, Quentin Nelson from the Indianapolis Colts joins Joe Bitonio from the Cleveland Browns as the starter. Joel Thuney from the Kansas City Chiefs is the backup. Creed Humphrey from the Chiefs will start at center. Tyler Liederbaum from the Baltimore Ravens will back him up. On defense, your defensive ends to start are Myles Garrett and Max Crosby from the Browns and Raiders. Trey Hendrickson. Let me take a sip of water. Trey Hendrickson from the Cincinnati Bengals will back them up. Interior lineman Chris Jones from the Chiefs, Quinnen Williams from the New York Jets, Justin Matabuki from the Baltimore Ravens will back them up. Outside linebackers are TJ Watt and Khalil Mack from the San Diego Chargers, Watt from the Steelers, Josh Allen from the Jacksonville Jaguars will back them up. Starting middle linebacker is Roquan Smith, and congratulations to Roquan Smith. All right, being dumped by the Bears, traded by the Bears, snatched by the Ravens, and the Ravens have made him into a Pro Bowler. I am so happy for that. Patrick Queen, also from the AFC leading Baltimore Ravens, will back him up. Your quarterbacks are Pat Surtain II from the Denver Broncos and Sauce Gardner from the New York Jets. Jalen Ramsey from the Dolphins and Denzel Ward from the Cleveland Browns will back them up. Free safeties. A free safety is Justin Simmons. I'm naming the starters from the Denver Broncos, backed up by Minkah Fitzpatrick. Strong safety Kyle Hamilton, who had a fabulous year for the Baltimore Ravens. Special teams, long snapper is Ross Matzik from the Jacksonville Jaguars. AJ Cole from the Raiders is the punter. The kicker, Justin Tucker from the Baltimore Ravens. Not surprised. Marvin Mims Jr. from the Denver Broncos is your kick returner. Your special teamer is Miles Killebrew from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now to the NFC. And if you hear me say San Francisco 49ers a lot, that's because there are a lot of 49ers on this roster. Starting quarterback is Brock Purdy over Dak Prescott and Matthew Stafford. Christian McCaffrey will get the start in front of DeAndre Swift and Kyron Williams. Kyle Juszczyk is the fullback. Your wide receivers are CeeDee Lamb and A.J. Brown, with Mike Evans and Puka Nacua backing them up. Starting tight end, who else? George the Animal Kittle from the San Francisco 49ers, with an outstanding rookie Sam Laporta backing them up. Trent Williams and Lane Johnson from the Eagles will start at tackle, with Penei Sewell from the Lions backing them up. And congrats to Penei Sewell, former Northwestern Wildcat, being selected as a Pro Bowler. Your guards are Zach Martin and Chris Lindstrom from the Cowboys and the Falcons. Landon Dickerson from the Philadelphia Eagles will back them up. Jason Kelsey from the Eagles will start at center. Frank Ragnow from the Lions will back him up. On the defense, you have Nick Bosa from the Niners, Montez Sweat from the Bears that will start. Aiden Hutchinson, fabulous, from the University of Michigan, from the Detroit Lions, will back him up. Your interior lineman, Aaron Donald from the Rams, Dexter Lawrence from the New York Giants, and they will start while being backed up by Javon Hargrave from San Francisco. Your outside linebackers, Micah Parsons, the fabulous linebacker from the Cowboys, Danielle Hunter from the Minnesota Vikings, Hassan Reddick from the Philadelphia Eagles will back them up. Your middle linebacker, Mr. Do-It-All himself, Fred Warner, will start Bobby Wagner from the Seahawks. And congrats to Bobby Wagner going back home to the Seahawks and getting a Pro Bowl selection. Love that. Wagner will back up Fred Warner. Your cornerbacks, Deron Bland and Shavarius Moody Ward from the Cowboys and the Niners will start. Jalen Johnson from the Bears, Devon Witherspoon from the Seahawks will back them up. Your free safety, Jesse Bates from the Atlanta Falcons. Strong safety, Budda Baker from the Arizona Cardinals being backed up by Julian Love. Andrew DePaula from the Minnesota Vikings will be your long snappers. We look at the special teams. Your punter, Brian Anger from the Cowboys. Kicker, Brandon Aubrey, also from the Cowboys. Rashid Shaheed from the New Orleans Saints is your kick returner. And your special teamer is Jalen Reeves-Maybin from the Detroit Lions. Man, I am so happy for all of the first-time Pro Bowlers, for everybody that has been was selected. But it even surprised me, and I've been a 49er fan since 1981. It even surprised me that there were 9 Pro Bowlers from the San Francisco 49ers. 9 of them. I couldn't believe it. But I'm not worried about Pro Bowl selections or anything like that. What I'm worried about is my team, A, getting healthy, and B, getting to Las Vegas. That's what I'm worried about. And that's what I want so badly for my team, because we got to the Super Bowl in 2019. Y'all know what happened. We held a 10-point lead and couldn't hold down the Kansas City Chiefs, who scored 21 fourth quarter points, second most in a quarter, next to Washington's 35 and Super Bowl 22 at San Diego. I'm speaking. You know what? I'm going to do this the right way. Cole, I'm sorry for taking us off the rails. I am sorry. I'm sorry in advance. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry in advance for taking us off the rails. But let me make an adjustment with my camera here. Okay. Again, I am so sorry for taking us off the rails. Okay? I'm so sorry for taking us off the rails. But, and I know a train's coming. I know it's coming. Back down memory lane. Wasn't what I expected. But okay, I'll take it. But again, I apologize to my wonderful executive producer for taking us off the rails for about 9 minutes. So I'm going to do this. Okay. It is great to have all the Pro Bowl selections that the 49ers have. 9 of them. Okay. As long as I've been a 49er fan, and I've been a fan since 1981 and an insider since 2000, I've never seen, or 2004, I've never seen this many Pro Bowl selections on one team, because I gotta say, sometimes I didn't pay attention to the Pro Bowl because that was usually the final football game of the year. And as Paul Allen sang in the Vikings 12 Days of Christmas, 9 months without football. I didn't think I'd never seen that many starters. Okay. And this version of the.
Are you for real?
Yes, I'm for real. Dang it. Even I haven't been much of a Pro Bowl person, because as I said, it signaled the end of the season. And again, as Paul Allen saying, 9 months without football. Anyone who knows the 12 Days of Christmas Vikings version, they'll know the reference. But I'm not worried about Pro Bowl selections. As I began, I'm worried about hoisting the Vince Lombardi Trophy in Las Vegas, because I really feel in my heart it's going to be us and the Baltimore Ravens meeting in Vegas to decide the title. And after the butt whooping we took at Levi Stadium on Christmas night, I think the 49ers are going to be ready for them. The first thing they need to do is get healthy. And having that number 1 seed allows us basically 2 weeks off because Purdy's not going to start. McCaffrey's not going to start. I have the feeling Trent Williams is not going to start. So everybody that's banged up gets a chance to heal. If some regular starters are starting, they'll play 1, maybe 2 series, and that's it. Sam Darnold's getting the start on Sunday. And it's good for him to get this time in and see what he can do. Okay? And I'll say this about Sam Darnold, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The only thing Sam Darnold hasn't had in his career has been weapons. Now he's got them. Now he's got them. And about the selections, and thank you seriously, Larry, for pointing this out. Why were Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk snubs? Why were they snubbed? I'll never understand this voting, this one-sided back-asswards voting. And that's exactly what it is. It's one-sided and it's backwards. For Ayuk to put up the numbers that he put up and he gets snubbed. That's all right. I'm around St. Brown too. That's all right. I ain't worried about the Pro Bowl. I'm worried about the Super Bowl. That is the trophy I want us, my team, my beloved 49ers, to lift. I'm not worried about the Pro Bowl. It's a bunch of BS anyway. I'm trying my very best not to swear. And when I get Cool and Coach on, I'm going to remind them of the same thing because we are on WQEE 99.1 FM in Atlanta and a couple of other stations in Baltimore and Chicago. I don't care about the Pro Bowl, especially the way they made it hands off. Period. Let me say that again for those of us in the cheap seats at Soldier Field or those of us in the cheap seats at Old Candlestick Park. I don't care about the Pro Bowl and the players that were selected. The bowl I care about is taking place at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, and God willing, I'll be there to cover it. That's the Super Bowl. That's the big one. That's the final game of the year. That is where I want to see my beloved San Francisco 49ers lift the Lombardi Trophy. The Pro Bowl selections are great. Don't get it twisted. They're great. But it's not about that. It's about the ultimate prize. This year it's in Vegas. Next year it's in New Orleans. And the year after that, the one I fully intend to make, Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. Congrats to all of the Pro Bowlers who were selected. All right. I'm not downing that. I'm just saying I wasn't interested, and I don't think I ever have been interested in the Pro Bowl. It's a fun all-star game, yeah, but when they started changing the rules and making it more hands-off and making it more hands-off and stuff like that, and you weren't able to tackle, and they waited 2 weeks to play the Pro Bowl, and you get the full offseason to heal just in case there was an injury. And that all started with Robert Smith being injured playing beach football in Hawaii. Robert Edwards, I beg your pardon. Robert Edwards out of Georgia. Okay? The players don't even care about the Pro Bowl. They held it in Hawaii for many years, and it enticed players to come there, but it lost its luster. And so is Aloha Stadium. So now they're trying to redo it in Orlando, Florida. Really? Why don't we do this? Why don't we just put the Pro Bowl on hold for a couple of years while they blow the blank out of Aloha Stadium and rebuild the doggone thing? How about that? How about you put the Pro Bowl on hold? And I'm saying this for the NBA All-Star Game too. Why don't you put it on hold for a couple of years while you figure out how the heck you're going to play the darn thing? and especially for the Pro Bowl, while they blow the out of Aloha Stadium and rebuild it. Because that's where the Pro Bowl should be. Honolulu, Hawaii. Aloha Stadium. It's where the Hawaii Warriors should be also. Anyway, I ain't worried about the Pro Bowl. I'm worried about my team making the Super Bowl. That's Snowman's take. What is yours? I had to get that one off my chest. All right, to the Fanatics feedback zone. The Hawk TV is with us. He said, congrats to the Pro Bowlers. Snowman, I knew you'd be interested in how many 49ers made the All-Pro list. I am, but I'm not interested in the games themselves. And I agree with you when it comes to the Super Bowl. Seriously, Larry, the players don't even care about the Pro Bowl. They held it in Hawaii to entice players, and even that didn't work. Yeah, it lost its luster in Hawaii when they started changing the rules. The NFL players deserve way more money as they put it all on the line and don't need an in-season tournament to keep them engaged. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. It's an off-season game. No one follows spring football. How about a mid-season flag football game? Dear God in heaven, don't do that to me, please. My squad has the number one pick, and we absolutely 1,000% suck. The Hawk TV joining us from Washington, D.C., big-time Redskins fan. Coming up after the break, Davante Adams advocating for Antonio Pierce. What? Davante Adams speaking up for somebody? Now that is a post-Christmas miracle. Back after this.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze car.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crayon they get, they palm it and do two circles, and that translates to I can beat up black people.
As she takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Pacific Time Zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Oh, I'm sorry. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel. Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pizzle 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby.
Get ready for the Four Horsemen of Peckham's. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Snowman of the Morning is brought to you by SeatGeek. Looking for the best way to experience live events? SeatGeek has you covered. With just a few taps on your phone, you can find the best seats for concerts, sports, theater, and more. Don't miss out on unforgettable moments. Download the SeatGeek app today and get ready for an experience like no other. Each ticket is vetted for authenticity and ranked on a 1 to 10 scale. And right now, if you use the code Snowman Multimedia, new code, you will get $20 off of your first purchase. That's only through the power of SeatGeek, where fans can fan. So let's all fan. All right. Davante Adams is speaking up on who he wants as coach of the Los Angeles Raiders. I mean, Oakland Raiders. I mean, Las Vegas Raiders. Doggone it. The all-pro receiver had high praise for interim head coach Antonio Pierce and said he should be given the full-time job. Adams said, quote, "It's obviously who I want. That's my vote, and I've been vocal about that. That's basically how the whole locker room feels, with good reason. He's come in and done a great job. He's continued to win us over. It's not just the comfortable thing. I think having AP will be good for this organization," close quote. Pierce is 4-4 as an interim head coach and got an upset victory over AFC West champion Kansas City. He was visibly emotional after the win. Okay. Yeah. I have nothing against Antonio Pierce. I really don't. But what I'm about to deliver is not. Who am I kidding? Yes, it is. This is for Davante Adams, but it's not as scathing as you think it is. It's a warning. Davante Adams, love the fact that you spoke up for Antonio Pierce. Love the fact that you said the locker room is being won over by Antonio Pierce. Love the fact that you said you want him there. But I have a very simple question for you, Mr. Davante Adams. Who's in charge? It ain't Antonio Pierce. It's Mark Davis, the bowl cut brigand himself. And I know I am very skeptical when it comes to things because I've seen a lot in football in 45 years, part of which I'm going to get roasted for during the top of the second hour from the Cool and Coach Hour, and I totally deserve it. That later. As I said, I know I'm skeptical about a lot of things. I've seen some things happen in watching sports for as long as I have, but do you really think, and I hope I'm wrong when I ask this question, I really hope I'm wrong when I ask this question. Do you think the bowl cut brigand is going to grant the players' wishes? Matter of fact, let me pose that to the chat. Do you think the bowl cut brigand himself, Mark Davis, will grant the players' wishes and hire Antonio Pierce as the full-time coach? Because he has come in and done a great job. He has. But I regale you, Davante Adams, with the tale of Rich Bisaccia. After all of the Hades that John Gruden put the Raiders through, which included the move to Vegas, Rich Bisaccia was asked to be the interim coach, and all he did was guide them to the playoffs and nearly a playoff win at Cincinnati. They didn't keep him. That's what I see happening here. I would like to be wrong. I really would. I would like to be wrong. But I've seen it happen time and time and time and time again. Organizations hiring the wrong coach. Organizations hiring the wrong person to coach their team. Darvin Ham, hello. In a way, Billy Donovan, hello. It's like, no, a lot of these owners think they know what the players want, and they do it without talking to them. Bad move. Bad move. As a matter of fact, since I'm going to get in trouble with a certain organization anyway, and I particularly don't care anymore, that's a discussion I'll have off the air. I have a question. Hey, Bishop Bullwinkle, do you think Mark Davis will do the right thing and hire Antonio Pierce as his full-time head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders?
Hell no. To the no, no, no. Hell to the no. Hell to the no. To the no, no, no.
Let me do it again. Hey, Bishop Bullwinkle, do you really think the bowl cut brigand will hire Antonio Pierce as the full-time coach of the Los Angeles Raiders?
Hell no. To the no, no, no. Hell to the no. Hell to the no. To the no, no, no.
Thank you. That's the answer I was looking for. You know what? I agree with you seriously, Larry. They're going after Jim Harbaugh. So are the Bears, so are the Redskins, and so are the Chargers. All these teams that have coaching openings coming up, or openings there already where they have the interim head coach, like the Los Angeles Raiders, are looking for Jim Harbaugh. And my only question is why? He just barely had success in Michigan outside of regular season wins. If the Raiders were in a position to make the playoffs, then Mark Davis would have a little bit more empathy toward hiring Antonio Pierce. But then again, he didn't have any empathy when it came to Rich Bisaccia after all the they went through that season dealing with John Gruden. And they didn't keep Rich Bisaccia. Bad move. They've been circling the drain ever since. And now Davante Adams, bless his heart, is speaking up for Antonio Pierce to be the full-time head coach of the Los Angeles Raiders. I'm sorry, I can't say Las Vegas Raiders consistently because I just imagine them being in Los Angeles. That's a story for another time. I'm sorry, Raider Nation, but I just don't see Mark Davis doing the right thing and hiring Antonio Pierce. Because if that were the case, he'd have done it already. If that were the case, he would have done it already, period. And I hate saying this, but you wonder why the Raiders are where they are. Mark Davis, if you have any semblance of a heart, please hire Antonio Pierce. Please, and do it now. Don't wait until halfway through the offseason when you have no idea which direction your team is going. And since you've taken over, you still don't have a direction on where your team is going. Period. You don't, and you never will, unless you step on faith and grow a set and hire the right people and quit meddling in business. Hey, Chicago Bears, are you listening to this message? Hey, Carolina Panthers, are you listening to this message? Hire Antonio Pierce. Let him coach your football team. Let him take his bumps, because there are going to be some. And just do it, okay? Hire him, give him a few years, and if it doesn't work out, then you can move on. But don't move on so quickly from Antonio Pierce. He may just be the guy you need. But then again, I'm not one to gossip, so you ain't heard it from me. Davante Adams, keep speaking up for your coach. and I hope he becomes the full-time coach. Mark Davis, the bowl cut brigand, do the right thing, will you please? Coming up next, before the top of the hour, I will reveal my top 10 teams heading into week number 18. And y'all are going to love this list. Snowman in the morning with Cole Johnson, back in a flash.
Hey, Eagles fan. Join my man Cool McCain and a host of others as they break down every single game, every single week in an objective manner, and also from a fan's perspective as well. Remember, this cast feels just like you. Nobody likes you. And you don't care. Fly, Eagles, fly. Eagles Elite Podcast. Every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and other podcast outlets.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids from the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pizzle 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby!
Get ready for the Four Horsemen of Pick'ems. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube. Poppy J.
You got the option to cry for the government. You got the option to protest. You got the option to keep buying. But this is also an option.
Wise El Jefe.
We're the first tech geeks. We're the first gamers. We're the first everything. Everything. Like Gen X's, we are the ones.
BS3 Network proudly presents the crew from the New York boroughs who never wants that smoke. Nah, they want that fire. Poppy J and Wise El Jefe. Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
The Cool and Coach Hour will come at the top of the second hour. It'll be all things Texans with a chance for them to get in the playoffs against the Indianapolis Colts. We'll talk about that game. I have an interview with Matt Taylor that I have. We'll have that. And then the guys are going to put me in front of an open fire because I said C.J. Stroud would be a bust. And I also said the Houston Texans would go 5-12. They have a long memory. And old Snowman's going to get it. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. As Ron White said best, that's profiling. And profiling is wrong. And I was dead wrong about the Houston Texans. My ego and the rest of me are going to pay for it. And y'all are going to have fun when they roast me. I can't wait. Because I absolutely deserve it. Hey, folks, if you like what you hear and see, you can support the stream via Cash App with a donation to $ Tallman Dr. K50 or $ host Cole Johnson. He's the executive producer extraordinaire. He put everything together. I love that brother to death, and I love the folks that we have on. So support the show and support your hosts if you would. You can also support us by advertising with us. Drop an email to snowmanmultimedia@gmail.com or call 317-762-8567. That's 317-762-8567. All right. There's one more thing. I want y'all to please help support the Snowman Stadium Tour, because I want to tour a lot of stadiums, not just for me, but to help get my family out of a mountain of debt because of the medical bills and all kinds of other stuff going on. And also, I want to take a big chunk of that and donate it to cancer research. If it can save my life, and if it can save a couple of other folks that I've met, even today, one has survived prostate cancer, one has survived colon cancer, and I want to talk to them. I want to talk to people that are going through a cancer fight right now and make a big donation to cancer research. Those are the two purposes: to help my family out of debt and to make a donation to cancer research. Because if it can save my life, it can save a whole lot more people. Cancer took both of my parents. My dad lost to prostate cancer, lost my mother to colon cancer. So any way that y'all can help me with any donation whatsoever, however small it is, go to GoFundMe.com/F/Snowman Stadium Tour. That's GoFundMe.com/F/Snowman Stadium Tour. Any contribution would be absolutely awesome. And we're hoping to start this spring. All right. So we got all that. And there was something I want. There was something I wanted to do. And I think I remember what that something is. I haven't done this in about 5 weeks, but we're going to do it this morning. It is Snowman's Power Rankings, NFL Power Rankings, entering the final week of the season. Here we go at number 10. I have the Los Angeles Rams. They snuck in. No one expected them, myself included, to sneak into the playoffs. They're in, and they're a dangerous team right now. Would you want to face them? Well, my confidence in the 49ers says yes, but this Rams team has gotten hot at the right time. They're going to rest a lot of their starters with the finale against San Francisco on Sunday. Number 9 is the Philadelphia Eagles, and they are free-falling right now. After the loss to the Cardinals, they have lost 4 of their last 6 games, and you don't know what Eagles team is going to show up. Let's see if they get it right come playoff time. Number 8 is the Miami Dolphins. They've run out of gas. They are predicated on speed. They are predicated on Tyreek Hill. If they do have a running game in Raheem Mostert. Trouble is, they need to use him a lot more. He can run the ball. He can get you about 150 yards a game if you learn how to use them. Same with Philadelphia and DeAndre Swift. Number 7 is the Kansas City Chiefs. They have no receivers, not dependable ones outside of Travis Kelce. That should tell you everything you need to know right there. Number 6 is the Buffalo Bills. They've discovered a running game, and they're going to use it to run Miami off the division lead and claim the AFC East on Sunday. You'll hear my picks with me and Mike tomorrow, and Mike debate tomorrow morning. Number 5 is the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know who the heck the Dallas Cowboys are, but they're there. They got to win over the Detroit Lions, and they're sitting right there at number 5. You have the Cleveland Browns at number 4. This is a dangerous team. This is a very, very dangerous team. I wouldn't want to face them in any game, in any playoff game whatsoever, outside of them traveling to Baltimore. Let's see who the Browns face in the playoffs, and let's see how much fun they're going to have and how much they can get right. Number 3, the Detroit Lions, who got totally screwed last Saturday night. I saw a couple of videos, Detroit against everybody, Lions against everybody. I kind of agree with that, but Detroit needs to get right with their running game. I mean, David Montgomery walked from Chicago to Detroit, okay? They can use David Montgomery, especially now going into the playoffs. They're the NFC North champions and have sealed everything they've needed to seal. Detroit sitting at number 3, which means my top 2 teams are these. The San Francisco 49ers at 2. You already know what's going on with them. They are beaten up considerably, especially on defense, but they have claimed the NFC West. They have claimed the number 1 seed, and they get basically 2 weeks off because I believe they're going to kick the daylights out of the Rams, Sam Darnold or no Sam Darnold, and they're going to get healthy. They get a week off officially, and they get a chance to heal. They get a chance to get everybody back, including Eric Armstead, who has missed the last 4 games with a knee and a foot injury. They got Javon Hargrave back. And let me throw some love to Javon Kinlaw, who has stepped in the place of Eric Armstead and has performed very admirably. The secondary is coming around for San Francisco. Even though they got burned by Baltimore on Christmas night, this secondary for San Francisco is the unit that you have to watch. It was the weakest link for the longest time this year, and now they're becoming one of the strongest. My worry with San Francisco comes on the offensive line. How well will they protect Brock Purdy with everybody coming after them? And that means my number one team is, of course, the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens have been absolutely spectacular. I go back to Christmas night when they kicked the daylights out of us meaning the 49ers, and they just made it look easy. That is Snowman's power rankings for Week 18. What are your power rankings for Week 18? Who's your number 1 team? Who's your number 10 team? Follow along with us as we take you to and through the playoffs. All right, it's the top of the hour. Coach Cool McCain and Coach Dante will be here shortly. And after a break, when we come back, I'm going to get roasted. And rightfully so. I'm looking at all of y'all and saying, and rightfully so. Second segment, I'll have an interview with Matt Taylor from the Indianapolis Colts. And then they're going to continue to roast me about the Houston Texans because I profiled them and I was totally wrong. And in this case, I love being wrong because I'm going to get it. Second hour after this.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
If you talk, they will hear you.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. And we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. Not just one time, but every chance we get. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids not only need to know the dangers and how to avoid them, they need to hear it often from you. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids and guide them through the challenges of growing up safe and healthy. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
So talk, they hear you. You can do it if you try.
He was only 58 years old when he passed away. That outcome could have been different.
Colorado happens to be one of the worst states for radon levels.
It's in our ground, and it seeps up.
The more you breathe radon, the more chance you have of DNA being hit and the cell mutated. The EPA estimates 22,000 lung cancer deaths a year caused by radon.
We all make choices. When it comes to alcohol, kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad.
Bye-bye.
Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Have fun. Hey, have a seat for a second. Remind me about that party again?
Alex is just...
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. They want guidance and honest answers to their questions. And it makes a difference when the message is consistent and part of everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Four minutes after the hour, and this portion of Snowman in the Morning brought to you by Fanatics. Attention sports fans looking for the ultimate gear and apparel to show your team pride. Look no further than Fanatics, the #1 destination for sports enthusiasts. Visit snowmanmultimedia.com today and shop a wide selection of officially licensed merchandise from your favorite teams, from jerseys to hats, accessories to collectibles. Fanatics has it all. Don't miss out on the chance to elevate your game day experience. Head over to snowmanmultimedia.com and gear up like a true fan with Fanatics. Officially licensed everything. Well, okay, no more waiting. It's the Cool and Cold Shower presented by BetUS.com. And here's one half of the dynamic duo. Mr. McCain, how are you, my friend? Good to see you.
Good to see you, sir. You can tell how I am by looking behind me.
I want to know one thing. In the intro, I want to know where you got those glasses from. Those sunglasses.
So I was actually traveling, and I ran across somebody who was selling them, and they had that green color I got, and I got a black pair. The black pair got broke, so I'm trying to see if I can find them like on social media.
Yeah,
get that site and get some more.
How did you break the black pair? How? You didn't?
No.
Oh boy. Well, these are the sunglasses my wife gave me when we first got married, because I didn't think to get transition lenses, which with the next pair of glasses I'm going to get, and I get to renew these in February.
I will make a suggestion to you.
Yes, sir.
Someone who no longer is a glass wearer but used to wear glasses, do not get transition.
No.
Just get you some medicated sunglasses.
Okay. Will do.
They don't get dark enough.
Here's the other half. Here's Coach Dante. What's going on, brother? Happy New Year to both of you.
What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing?
Oh, we're doing good.
Man. How you, man?
I'm doing awesome.
We're just gonna let's have some fun, because I have been playing this up all morning. And the only thing, Dante, because I know how you are, that I ask you to do is not to swear, because we are on over-the-air radio in Atlanta. But I'm going to hand you guys a big fat dunk when I say I'll use Ron White's voice. Like I've been saying all morning, I said CJ Stroud was going to be a bust. I also said the Houston Texans were going to be 5-12, and Coach Dante is smiling because all I have to say to respond to that, in the immortal words of Ron White, that's profiling, and profiling is wrong. So with that in mind, Coach Dante, and to Cole Johnson, to your Texans, a drink in your honor, because y'all are one win away from something no one, myself included, thought would happen. CJ Stroud made a liar out of me. He made an absolute liar out of me.
Well, a couple people thought that would happen, and they're on screen with you.
Mm-hmm.
They knew, actually, they didn't just think, they knew that you were just being asinine and buying the ESPN.
Listen,
yeah. But hey,
I
you can't tell some people.
I bit. That's why, like
you got to watch for yourself. You can't listen to other people. You have to watch for yourself. You didn't watch for yourself. I know you didn't watch for yourself. I know you didn't.
I didn't. I'll say that aloud, and I'll say it aloud 100,000 times. I didn't watch.
You can't have conviction about something that you haven't experienced for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we getting on you, because we know you didn't pay attention.
I didn't.
The moment I seen him gash up, well, we've been knew how good he was before, even before he played that Georgia goddamn game. But he lost Marvin Harrison Jr.
Watch it, please.
He lost Marvin Harrison Jr. and still was able to beat CJ Stroud.
And
yeah, so the moment that solidified everything that, like I say, everybody needed to know. But like I say, it's not like I didn't know. Like he had his struggles versus the Michigan Wolverines and all of that. But you look at how he was killing everybody in the Big Ten, everybody else, and what he did against Georgia, which nobody thought Ohio State had an opportunity. I knew they had an opportunity because they had all those all-world wide receivers and CJ Stroud. I thought that was the best opportunity. I honestly thought Ohio State was the best team to beat Georgia at that moment because of those wide receivers was going to give those DBs like Kelly Ringo and stuff a problem. And you've seen how the national championship game turned out to be an embarrassment by the TCU Horned Frogs. But that showed you CJ Stroud was able to move up out of the pocket, move around. He was able to run. And when Marvin Harrison got knocked up out of the game, he still led the team almost to a game-winning field goal, until Noah Ruggles missed that field goal. But other than that, I knew this team was going to be something good, because when I went to training camp, man, was so different. The vibe was so different. CJ Stroud looked really great. The receivers, them was all on the same page and everything. We got more physicality now. I knew everything was going to be good. I knew everything.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this about CJ Stroud. As I'm coming to know him, as I've watched him this season, you went to training camp. You saw it in person, and you said the vibe was different. Did it feel like from day one they just knew he was the guy and they just came together with him?
Yeah, he was always the guy. He was always going to be the starting quarterback. I mean, like I say, all this nonsense that people thought Davis Mills was really, it was really a quarterback competition was just laughable. It was just laughable. It was never a quarterback competition. I know when people always would tell me, when is CJ Stroud going to get started? Why is it a quarterback competition? Because, again, you want to earn your spot. And D'Amico Ryans did the right job of handling the quarterback position. He already knew. He was already told he was a starting quarterback. And when you pick quarterback number 2, when you pick quarterback high in the draft, you knew he's got to start. You're not going to sit his ass on no bench, especially when you got Davis Mills on your goddamn rosters. On your roster, my bad. My bad about that. When you got Davis Mills on your roster, you wouldn't think you started over CJ Stroud, a quarterback that would be better. That could be better. And you already seen. Look at the quarterbacks that CJ Stroud has played better than. He has played better than Jalen Hurts outside of the rushing touchdown. This year, he's not a better quarterback. He's not a better quarterback.
He don't turn the ball over like 40 times a game.
He's not a better quarterback. I'm not saying he's a better quarterback. So I don't want everybody to get my words mixed up. He's not a better quarterback, but he's played better this year. He's played better than Patrick Mahomes this year. Patrick Mahomes is considered to be the best quarterback in the NFL. He's considered to be the best quarterback in the NFL. Jalen Hurts has played better football. He's played better than Justin Herbert this year. He's played better than Josh Allen this year. He's played better than a lot of the elite quarterbacks this year. I'm not saying he's a better overall quarterback. I'm not saying that. But he's going to crack that top 5. Give him to next year. He's going to crack that top 5. And again, like I said, I'm very excited. No matter win or lose on Saturday, I'm excited. Houston fans excited because we weren't supposed to be good at all. We weren't supposed to be good at all.
You should be excited. What is an update on I'm trying to think of the receiver's name. Is it Tank Dell?
He's out for the season. He's out for the season. Yeah, he won't be back till next year.
Okay. And Nico Collins, any updates on him?
He's back. He's been back for 2 weeks.
Okay. So Collins will play. Who will tote the ball for Houston?
Devin Singletary. He's one of the hottest running backs in the league right now.
Okay. And I like the offensive line of Houston and how they've come together and how they've learned to block for CJ Stroud and roll the pocket. That's been the
Hey, real quick,
get out
while you in Bizarro land, I needed to say a couple things to Serious Larry real quick. So I look back when he was saying the Eagles are number 18 right now. The way they played the last 5 weeks, Larry, I want you to name me the teams that you have under the Eagles, because I don't think they're 18 right now.
Listen,
I don't think they're that high.
Listen, the Eagles.
But
I'll repeat it. I'll repeat a question to you, Cole. Cool. I'll repeat a question that Cole Johnson said in a group chat we had this morning. Do you still have a voice left after the way you went?
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. I made preparations because I understood what was going to happen. I made preparations.
All right. I know. Wait.
I got to say one other thing. I agree with seriously obvious on the transitions.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I know you want to greet somebody, so go ahead and take it.
What's up?
I knew you wanted. I knew you wanted to do that.
Yes. Sir,
back to the Texans. Dante, how do you feel? Because you've watched them all year, and with me being so wrong about them, I want to invite you to be my Texans insider from here on.
Okay.
You definitely need one.
Yeah, I do. I'm trying to get a rep for all 32 teams. But with Houston being where they are right now, and no one expected them to be there, they're just playing with house money right now. No one expected them to get to this point, be a win away from the playoffs, and get a win in a place where y'all won last year to land CJ Stroud.
Like I said, man, I like the position that we're in. Like I say, to be in the position to get the Colts again, and that Colts beat us in week 2 this year. So I feel like we got the team. To beat the Colts, going to Indianapolis, get a win. Jonathan Gernard, who has 12 sacks this year, he's looking for a big payday next year. And Will Anderson, this guy is hard to block, man. Will Anderson Jr. has been a stud for us. He was named a Pro Bowl alternate yesterday. Very excited for him, even though if he don't make it, I'm still excited. That's good news because you got respect around the league. That just showed you got respect all around the league. Sheldon Rankins, our defensive line has been playing great. Getting to the quarterback. That's one thing we couldn't do last year. We couldn't stop the run last year. Having Sheldon Rankins, Malik Collins in there, Kirk Hinish over there, being able to stop the run, I thought that was very important. Derek Stingley, him turning into that number 1 cornerback. He has his 4 weeks. He's already named a Pro Bowl alternate, and he has 5 interceptions. He didn't have not one pass thrown his way last weekend. Not one pass thrown his way. So he's becoming quickly a lockdown corner, and everybody expected that he should have been picked over Sauce Gardner. But other than that, our cornerbacks has been very good. Jimmy Ward has been hurt all year, but he's still a leader in that locker room. And Dalton Schultz been a big help in the passing game. And the offensive line has improved dramatically. And Devin Singletary has clearly turned into one of the better top 20 to 15 backs in the league. He's a better fit for our offense than Damian Pierce. Damian Pierce may be out of there at some point. But I would really like in this offseason to bring back Devin Singletary. One of the key pieces on our defensive side of the ball is our linebacking core, Blake Cashman and Christian Harris. Christian Harris has turned into a tackling machine. So I like our physicality, like our defense, like the way our offense is playing. Nico Collins is emerging. Next year, we got a lot of money in cap space, so we can go out and get a big name wide receiver like a T. Higgins, or we can get a Chase Young on a defensive line. We still need some improvements at the receiving core because, like I say, John Mechie hasn't been really great, but I was expecting that because he's just coming off of cancer. But we still need more help at that receiving core and get more dynamic at that receiving core. And we may need another running back because Damian Pierce clearly got put on the bench for Devin Singletary, who I don't mind because he's playing way more better. He's been able to run the ball consistently well for us. So I like the direction. Like I say, making the playoffs is awesome, is great. And I think that will solidify D'Amico Ryan's coach of the year right there, making the playoffs. But other than that, if we don't, like I say, I'm very excited, man, because first year rookie head coach, up and coming superstar head coach, elite quarterback. He's going to be elite quarterback. Me and Cool telling you that right now. He's going to be elite quarterback in this league. He don't turn the ball over. He don't turn the ball over that much. He's only got 5 interceptions. Most of those interceptions came against Arizona. He's got 21 touchdowns. He's got about 2 rushing touchdowns. That's 23 touchdowns total. He's got a very good passer rating. But other than that, he's going to be an elite quarterback. With all of that coming with that right there, that's something special right there. To finish with the first winning season in 3 years. We won 10 games in 4 years. Won only 10 games in 4 years. 10 games in 4 years. Not a game that you thought in those last 4 years that we wasn't going to win. That we was going to win. And this year, I feel more comfortable in going on to the future that, hey, we can beat anybody. We can beat anybody as long as we got our guy at that quarterback position. We got our cornerback of the future. We got our defensive edge rusher and Will Anderson. We got our head coach. I'm excited.
As you should be. As you absolutely should be. Let's take a break. And when we come back, I'll have a talk with Matt Taylor, the voice of the Indianapolis Colts, helping to preview this big game on Saturday night. Back after this.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason
Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze car.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crayon they get, they palm it and do 2 circles, and that translates to, I can beat up black people.
As he takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Pacific Time Zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel. Ready to hang with some fellas who know football? Let's ride. LC Muscles 28.
I think they're the most overrated defense in the league.
Steel Sermon.
We did not trail for a single second.
Tiny Tim.
McCarthy is a bonehead.
A Pizzle 90.
I'm going with my boys. Fins up, baby.
Get ready for the 4 Horsemen of Pick'ems. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on YouTube.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Man in the morning, this portion is brought to you by SeatGeek. If you go to my YouTube page or go to snowmanmultimedia.com, click the SeatGeek logo, use the code SnowmanMultimedia, you'll get $20 off of your first purchase. It's a new year, new events, especially sporting events. The power of SeatGeek is yours. Speaking of power, the power of the playoff fate of the Indianapolis Colts lies in their own hands. We were here 2 years ago, and it backfired horribly in the last 2 games. This time it feels different with everything that's happened and everything they've gone through for them to come together like this and have this opportunity to not only clinch a playoff berth, but an outside chance to clinch the AFC South. Here to help me break it down, my good buddy, one of my best friends in broadcasting. I've had him on the last 2 years. I love this guy and I love his work. Matt Taylor joins me. Happy New Year, Matt. Great to have you back on.
Hey, Happy New Year to you. Thanks for having me, man. Yeah, excited for all that's about to unfold in a couple days here.
Saturday is it. 8:15 is the kickoff time. And I know it's crazy in the capital city with all that hangs in the balance for the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, what more could you want? I mean, you got two teams last year that were kind of left for dead. I mean, you had the 4-12-1 Colts, the 3-13-1 Texans. You know, ironically, these two teams played each other last year at Lucas Oil Stadium, Week 18, right? The same weekend. I think tickets for that game were going for about $15, maybe less. And here we are at a couple of zeros in the price of admission to get into this one, because it's win and you're in, lose and go home. You know, basically no scenario for either team to make the playoffs if one of these teams loses. So again, the next time the Colts lose or the next time the Texans lose, that's it, making Saturday night's game essentially a playoff game, even though it's the regular season finale. It's going to be awesome. Lucas Oil Stadium is going to be crazy. We've been having this debate internally. It's the biggest, home game for the Colts since ... kind of fill in the blank. Take your pick. But first, or I should say, biggest game in quite a long time, considering the losing that happened last year. So really, really excited for this game. And I know Lucas Oil Stadium is just going to be on fire.
What do you think was the turnaround point for the Colts? Because they were 3-5, then they rip off 4 in a row. They've won 6 out of 8 to get to this point. Can you point to one game or one moment that you thought turned this season around for the Colts to give them this opportunity to get in?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, obviously when you look at the schedule, things kind of turned around in the month of November, and the Colts really kind of squandered a major opportunity in the month of October. If you remember back, I think they had 4 out of 5 games that month at home, and they only won one of them. That kind of coincided with the defense giving up a huge point total. There was a stretch there, at Jacksonville, at Cleveland at Jacksonville, Cleveland at home, Saints at home. The Colts gave up, I think, at least 37 points in all 3 of those games, and they were very winnable games. I mean, 2 out of those 3 came down to the wire. They were 1-score games, or at least close there in the fourth quarter in the final 4 minutes. But then I think, in the month of November, this team, they certainly came together and they galvanized, taking care of some weaker competition, and that's what good teams do, right? They just beat the teams they're supposed to. And, at Carolina, in Germany against the Patriots. But I guess if I'm forced to pick one game, the game that I was most impressed by, I think, this season was the Tampa Bay game. And some people are going to disagree with that, and that's fine. But it kind of started the home stretch here for the Colts. And I think had the Colts lost that game, this realistic push for the playoffs would not be happening. It was right after Thanksgiving. The Colts had just beaten some bottom feeders again in Carolina and New England. But at the time, Tampa Bay was a pretty good stiff test, and them playing good football has come to fruition as they're in the mix again to win the NFC South and to make the playoffs. I think it was just a really good test for the Colts. It was a hard-fought game, and I think that game was some complimentary football in all 3 phases, and it kind of just proved to the Colts that if we just don't beat ourselves, if we take good care of the football, we play good, clean version of Colts football, we're going to be hard to beat, and that's sort of what's come to task here with this team. It's been really fun to see this team kind of bounce back, kind of take their lumps along the way, but they don't typically lose back-to-back games. In fact, they haven't again since October. So I think that Tampa Bay game showed a lot of resilience for this team, and it proved that this team can be confident in itself to compete and beat just about anybody in the NFL that's on their schedule.
The voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor, joining me here on the program. And Tampa Bay was a good test for the Colts. And if you point to that game, and I agree with you, it seems like they started to get their act together with that game, and they really came together. And I've read so many reports of Shane Steichen being a real difference maker. And as the coach of the Colts, he has been a difference maker, a big-time difference maker in getting these players to believe that they can compete.
Absolutely. I mean, Shane Steichen, I've been around a lot of coaches, and I've talked to a lot of guys about coaches, and Shane Steichen is just different. He's a young guy, so I think he understands what these players are going through. He's a former player himself, the college level, right? He was quarterback at UNLV. So he understands how what buttons to push and when to push them, right? And I think the biggest thing is he's holding guys accountable. Guys know that they got to do things the right way on and off the field to maintain a spot within this roster and inside this locker room. But the biggest thing for Shane, he's just so intelligent. He's just so smart. I can't.
All right, let me make an apology. I didn't schedule that well. I was supposed to schedule that for the first hour. I will remove this and I will have this up on the on the YouTube page. But Cool McCain was absolutely right to call this out, and I didn't do this well at all. I didn't do this well at all. This is supposed to be these two guys roasting me for being wrong about CJ Stroud. So I am just going to step back and I'm going to cede the floor to them.
I ain't even gonna say enough about CJ Stroud. I'm gonna let Coach Dante handle that.
I know you got some receipts too. So like I said,
I got something totally different to talk about. So I'm gonna let Coach Dante give you the work for his quarterback. You know what I'm saying? I ain't worried about getting the work because I believed in him. You won't get that work, but I got a few other things to say here. So Sirius earlier said better than Jalen Hurts is a low bar these days. Is it really? If we look at the numbers for Jalen Hurts, including the interceptions, this man could be an MVP if he didn't turn the ball over all those fumbles. Those fumbles are what's keeping him from being an MVP candidate. So if that's a low bar to you, then by God darn, I guess we need 7,000 yards, 50 touchdowns, 80% completion, and less than a half a turnover for every quarter of the season to be good, based on why you're trying to work my man, because he ain't playing as well as he could now. But this is a season. You look at that man's stats for the season. They are comparable to straight up, they are comparable to Brock Purdy, except for the turnovers. So if you're going to say that that's a low bar, hey, I don't know what you expect a high bar to be then. So that's that. So play-by-play with JJ says that, y'all broke the Birds. No, Nick Sirianni broke the Birds. The Birds have played bad all season. What happened was we ran up against a team that was prepared and said, we're going to put our foot on your throat. Because what had been happening up to then is we had been getting magical unicorn wins. I'll be honest, I'm an Eagles fan, but I'm going to keep it real with you. We had been getting little magical unicorn wins. Somebody drops the ball. We get a last-minute play. A bad call. Overtime win, stuff like that. To win a Super Bowl in the NFL, you have to go out and beat the teams you're supposed to beat, and you don't have to necessarily win every game, but you have to be competitive. We did not come into that game with the correct mindset, and people can use excuses like, "Oh, they had X amount of games, X amount of days." We're the only team that happened to. I don't care nothing about that. So, did they break the Birds? Did they break the Eagles? No. Nick Sirianni broke the Eagles way before that. You had the reporters in Philadelphia. Right, you had fans in the chat during his interviews. Right, when he's talking and everything, you had fans in the chat saying, "Why aren't we running the ball more? Why aren't we rotating guys on defense?" Right, you had fans going to the stadium, holding up signs saying, "Run the ball." Right, so this is not something that you look at and say, "You know what, man? One game hurt this team." It wasn't one game. It was a culmination of the season. Are they looking bad now? Yes. Am I going to try to sit here and defend the way that those guys are playing right now? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's unacceptable. And I was tricked, just like a lot of other fans, because I thought I was going to get a good quality team that was going to be coached well. And that's not what I got. I didn't even see my young players until they switched coordinators and Darius Slay got hurt. Until then, I didn't see Keely Ringo on the field, but maybe one or two plays. Until then, I did not see Eli Ricks getting playing time. I didn't see enough out of those young guys. I still don't see enough out of Nolan Smith. We drafted a lineman, and he never plays. We got the guy that's going to take over at center playing instead of him. So how are we developing for the future if we're not doing what's right? And play-by-play says we miss Shane Steichen. They do miss Shane Steichen because it didn't replace him. Nick Sirianni said, "Oh, I'm going to go and I'm just going to elevate somebody from the staff and have them run my playbook because I want to be the reason that we win." And guess what? You are the reason that we're not winning right now because of your stupid elementary playbook that everybody knows. You sit there and listen to games. You listen to the alternate broadcast. If you listen to a play-by-play that somebody's doing, they're calling out the plays that the Eagles are running.
Yeah.
Because it's the same plays out of the same formations. They never change. They don't even change the formation. They don't even say we're going to go in I form and then we're going to run one of these deep PA post routes. No, they do everything from the same formation with the same personnel in the game. That's why we're losing. That's why we're not looking as good as we need to. And that's been happening all year. It's just that at the end of the day, when you don't have the right guy coaching, this is what you get. I don't care what other people say. Oh, no. Nick Sirianni has said the offense is his fault, so fire him. Get him out, and let's get a coach in who is going to get a staff that knows what they're doing. I don't think Nick Sirianni is going to be fired because I believe our organization wants a yes man. That's why only certain guys are our head coach. And when you start bucking back, you get fired like what happened to Doug Peterson. Bubble screens, trash. QB draws, trash. Not doing what you're supposed to do.
And they're out of the shotgun 95% of the time. They don't change.
Over 95, actually, it's over 97%.
It's like you said, brother. They don't change their formation. They don't use the pistol. They don't go from under center.
Larry. Make sure you're listening to these words closely. I'm gonna say them very slowly for you to make sure that you get them. He would be an MVP candidate with his interceptions if it was not for fumbles. I did not say interceptions. I said fumbles, even with his interceptions. Jameis Winston never fumbled the ball like Jalen Hurts. He threw the ball to the other team. Hopefully that clears it up, Larry. If not, I don't know what else to tell you. Fumbles, turnovers. You can turn the ball over and it not be an interception. Hopefully it clears it up for you. Now, I also want to say that at the end of the day, well, I cleared it up for you. Hopefully it's clear enough, Mr. Larry. Turnovers do encompass everything, right? I didn't say specifically interceptions. You said specifically interception. I said turnovers. So there, I just cleared it up for you. I think everybody else already understood that it was fumbles because he's one of the quarterbacks that fumbles the most in the NFL. So all I want to say is at the end of the day, I'm very happy for Coach Dante and the Texans, right? Because this is a team that a lot of people didn't expect much out of, and they're playing well. I'm very unhappy with my organization. I hope we go out this summer, fire the head coach, bring in a better head coach who brings in a better staff. What I would like to have is a veteran. I would like to have a veteran as the coach. Larry, we're done. I had a veteran. And
who would be your choice?
It depends on who's available, because I think there are going to be some guys that are going to have an opportunity to come out and be a part of and be available that may be on a team now, but they just need to be in a different situation. So I want to wait and see who it is. But the profile, like, is somebody, really, I'd like somebody defensive minded to help fix all the issues on the defensive side of the ball, get a young coordinator with them or an OG. JJ, so tempted, but I'm gonna be honest. We talk about people being gatekeepers and stuff. I don't want him to leave that position. He's too good at the position he's in. I don't want Jeff Stoutland to ever not be the offensive line coach. I want him to be that forever. I don't care if we pay him like a coordinator. Just let him coach that line, because that line is dominant with him. That man is a miracle worker as an offensive line coach. So that's my thing. You didn't prove anybody wrong, Larry. You didn't prove anybody wrong. I know in your mind you probably believe you did, but that's because you live in a bizarro world where no one else is at, my brother. You're not listening. You're not paying attention. So you do you. If that you think that's a win because somebody's telling you that the fumbles are the reason why a guy is not in the MVP conversation, but he has great numbers. Then, hey, man, more power to you. In your special area, that might be a win for you. It's not. Sorry, Snowman. Go ahead.
Are there any names? Any names that like are out there right now that could replace Nick Sirianni as the coach of the Eagles that would like be what you're looking for?
So I'll give you a type. Because I
Mhm.
don't want to say a name because honestly, there's not many names that couldn't replace Nick Sirianni.
Mhm.
Because Nick Sirianni's understanding of X's and O's is very rudimentary at best. You know, I think play-by-play with JJ for Frank Wright, I would like for him to be an OC. I don't think he has what it takes to be a head coach, but I would love him to be our OC. You know, I love him to be the OC. We have somebody that's like a defensive-minded coach that brings in either a young coordinator with him or a veteran guy that doesn't really want to be a head coach. He just wants to really coach and develop the defense. All the position coaches on the defense need to be guys who have developed. Because what I want people to think about is this. Next year, more than likely, we're going to be going with Keely Ringo, Eli Ricks, and don't forget we got Isaiah Rodgers, who's suspended this year, that we signed as a trio in the cornerback position. I love to get Bradley Roby back because I love the way that he's played since he's been on the team. LeBlanc, I mean, you know, he's going to play, but he gets injured quite a bit. So he's not a guy that you can count on, you know, to not get hurt. Right. And my bad, I meant to say Maddox. I said LeBlanc. Maddox. He's a guy that, you know, he's going to get hurt a lot. So when you have guys that are going to get hurt a lot, you have to have a solid backup. But I like Roby. So I feel like the slot, we don't really have to go young. Let's just bring back Roby. You know, with Maddox, when he can stay healthy, he's one of the best slot corners in the league, but health is a big concern. So I want that profile. And I don't want a young guy. I want a guy that has some coaching experience as a head coach in the NFL. We went with 2 offensive coordinators that did not call plays for our last 2 head coaches. We did win 1 Super Bowl. We got to the other one, but you can't sustain that. If you get a veteran guy in there who can coach those guys up, who can help the guys develop throughout the year, we're not sitting here talking about Eagles losing 4 or 5 games at the end of the year. We're talking about a team who has developed depth. Where's Nolan Smith? Do you remember that we drafted him? No, you don't, because you don't see him enough. But he's out there, right? And I'm gonna hand the floor over to Coach Dante, but I just want to make 2 more quick points. You know, you look at Moro Ojomo, you don't hear his name, Marlon Tupeludo, Nolan Smith. Those are guys that could be depth pieces on the defensive line that we're not playing, right? Those are guys. You look at, we wasted a position all year for Albert O at tight end, and this dude got in the game and stunk it up and then got on injury reserve. Thankfully, that's why we have the sense enough to not play him. Quez Watkins has been a disappointment. I don't know why he's still on the team. He must have some pictures of Nick or somebody because he doesn't play on the field to deserve to be part of the roster, but he is. Like, he doesn't do anything on the field. We drafted Tyler to be our right guard of the future. He never plays. Cam Jurgens, who is our future center of the future, is playing right tackle instead. Why are we doing that? I mean, right guard instead, excuse me. Why are we doing that? Because we're not thinking, because the idiot is at the top of the food chain. So until you get the idiocy out, it's not going to get any better. The Eagles can't improve when you have stupidity that's limiting the ability to improve. We shouldn't be talking about young guys not playing at this point. We should be talking about young guys have got their licks. It was tough going early on, but now they're developing. You look at the Houston Texans. I'll use them as an example. When you're talking about their team, you're talking about how they developed, how they've changed, how they've gotten better, right? How those young guys are improving. You're not talking about guys just starting to see the field in weeks 15 and 16. You're talking about guys they played bad at times, but they had to develop. That's what happens with young players. And you don't take a rookie defensive lineman and make him play 85% of the snaps or more, and then be talking about, oh, he's burnt out at the end of the year. He doesn't play this many games in college. Of course he's burnt out. What are you people talking about?
Not only improving.
Hey, AJ Brown, last thing, then it's all y'all.
Go ahead.
Put some respect on AJ Brown's name.
Yes.
Stop running around calling him a hater and saying that he's a problem. The problem is Nick Sirianni. The problem is the fact that our GM, Mr. Howie Roseman, who everybody's been loving on and slobbing on and all that, did not do a good enough job of refilling and replenishing the depth that we had last year. I said that before the season started, and now everybody else sees it.
You said it the night after we cut. You said it the night after we covered the draft. That was one of the first statements you said to me, that they did not replace the depth that the Eagles had in 2022, and now it's costing them. I point. Is there a moment you can point to where everything flipped upside down for the Eagles?
When we won the first game playing like trash, that's the moment everything flipped. Because then all we heard from that moment was, it's going to get better, but we're winning. That's the moment when we won that game against the pathetic Patriots.
The Patriots.
That's the moment.
Yeah. I have for no argument. Now, Coach Dante, the floor is yours. Take it. I mean, big game Saturday night, but I don't want to talk about Saturday night's game. I want you to just take us home talking about your Houston Texans and how they've surprised everybody this year. The floor, my friend, is yours.
Well, first of all, I understand my brother Cool McCain coming from, my brother from another mother. But I want to throw this out there. I threw this out there on 7200 second. It is unacceptable for you to give up 200 yards to a 3-12 Cardinals and not have a punt. That is unacceptable. They didn't punt the ball once. That is absolutely unacceptable. You can't have that. I mean, it wasn't just James Conner running the ball. It was both guys running the ball. It was Greg Dortch, who I don't even know as a wide receiver, killing this secondary.
Right.
You have guys that you don't know on the Cardinals killing this defense in this secondary. Exactly. The only reason they had the ball 40 minutes because they were able to run the ball. If you look at from the start of the game, the start of that Eagles game, the Arizona game, Arizona was moving the ball up the field consistently. Every time they drove, they got points. They kicked 2 field goals. And then the third quarter, it was just a wash from now. But again, they scored 35 points. They didn't punt. They ran the football whenever they wanted to, however they want to. And to me, that is unacceptable. That is really unacceptable for me. So I'm going to my Houston Texans. I just want to thank everybody. I want to send everybody a thank you card for who doubted this team. And then this team was going to get better. I want to thank everybody for saying, this team is racist and they don't black case. No, that's what I want to thank because people was out there saying that.
They were. Yep, they were. They were
saying, wait a minute, they were saying that.
Don't forget. I know. This is my organization. I know that. I don't say it. I don't say anything. But could that why Cool McCain shaking his head? Because he knew that. He knew that we were absolutely called racist. And I want to thank David Culley, Lovie Smith. I want to thank those guys too because we wasn't patient with head coaches. But anybody thought David Culley was assistant coach for how many years? 20 years, and the receivers coach for Baltimore. Did anybody think he was going to be a future coach for this team? No. Did anybody think Lovie Smith was going to be a future head coach of this team? No. Now we got our right head coach. I want to thank everybody for saying they're gonna fire D'Amico his first season because there was rumblings about that too. I hear everything. I hear everything. I hear everything out there. So I just want to thank everybody, who doubted this team. I want to thank you for the 5-12. Thank you, sir. I want to thank you for the CJ Stroud doubts. Thank you. I want to thank everybody who just doubted this team, period, man. Just think this team wasn't going to be good. And now, like I say, when you doubt this team and when you doubt the city of Houston, we're going to go through some struggles. We're going to go through some struggles. You're not going to you can't remain a playoff or a championship contender forever. And sometimes you're going to have to go to the dark. Now the light is clicking on for both of my organizations, and now you guys are going to start to wake up and starting to feel how good this team is going to be. Whether if we make the playoffs or not, like I say, I'm still proud, and having a winning season since 2019, something special. But I just want to thank all the doubters out there, who doubted this team. I seen it 3 days in training camp, how this team was going to play, and it was guys standing outside. It was fans standing outside at 4:00 in the morning just to try to get in training camp, man. But who's waking up at 4:00 in the morning, at 3 in the morning, taking that time out and losing sleep to go to training camp to try to go? That's how excited you are about DeMeco Ryans. That's how excited you are about seeing your rookie quarterback and CJ Stroud. And they're giving you a reason. They gave you a reason all season long to be excited and to be excited for this future of the team. So all them doubters out there, I just want to say thank you for the doubting and for the organization.
Well, Colin Cowherd got a lot of things wrong when it comes to the playoff scenario. And I mean, he botched a lot. So the scenario is this: the winner makes the playoffs and the loser goes home. If the Jaguars lose in Nashville to the Titans, the winner of the Colts-Texans game is the AFC South champion. If the Texans-Colts game ends in a tie and the Steelers win in Baltimore, both teams are eliminated. I don't want to see that. If they end in a tie and the Steelers lose in Baltimore, the Colts advance, eliminating the Texans. If the Texans-Colts game ends in a tie and the Steelers lose in Baltimore, Jaguars lose in Nashville, both teams make the playoffs. The Colts as the AFC South champs and the Texans have as the number 7 seed, but both teams have a shot at the number 6 seed should the Bills lose in Miami.
Can I say one thing? All them scenarios is great, but I believe that when you control your own destiny, you go out there, you whoop some hind pots, and you don't worry about if this team do this, if this team tie, if this team's plane blows up, if this team's quarterback can't play and all that. Don't worry about it. You win and you get in. And then if the Jazz lose, you win. That's how I look at it.
Yep.
Because all those scenarios never play out. We sit here and they talk about, if 7 teams lose and this team ties, and then you win by one more, you tie this game, but your tie is 30 points instead of 25 points. No, we don't need all that.
Yeah, I ain't care less.
You win, you get in. Don't lose. You may get in if you get 5 things that ain't gonna happen to happen.
Yeah, if you get some help.
Yeah, I didn't care less. I just want to solidify our spot in the playoffs. That's all I care about.
Right.
I don't even care who we play, to be honest. I don't care if it's Miami. I don't give a damn if it's the Buffalo Bills. I don't care. I just want to win this game, get in the playoffs, and that's all I care about. We may get whooped in the playoffs, but again, this is a stepping point. This is a stepping stone, to going into to that championship direction, trying to compete for a title and trying to be consistent. So again, and like I say, even if we lose again, we planning on winning, going there and winning and beating the Colts. But even if we lose, this is a stepping stone. I mean, we got money in the offseason to get some big names out there. We got money, and we still got our first round draft pick. So we still going to make some noise, and you're going to be able to attract free agents to want to come here to play with CJ Stroud. Don't you know how many receivers will want to play for CJ Stroud, a quarterback that's going to get them the ball and throw it accurately? Not only that, if this guy get any type of time, he's going to throw it accurately. It's coming out of his hand. It's coming out of his hands before the route is even breaking. That's how special this guy is. The man throw the ball with a lot of accuracy. And again, man, I'm excited.
And you should be. I wrongfully doubted this team. And as I said earlier, CJ Stroud has made a liar out of me, and so have the Houston Texans. And you said something, Dante, that's very important. It's a stepping stone for Houston in DeMeco Ryans' first season, and I thank all the fools who said he needs to be fired after the first season, because they obviously don't know what DeMeco Ryans did for 6 years in San Francisco and the energy that he brings to Houston. Let's stop there for a moment. You've had a chance to cover the Texans all season long, Coach Dante. From the first day that DeMeco Ryans, from the day that he was named the head coach to where he is now, I won't have to ask how much of an impact that he's had on the Houston Texans. What I'm going to ask is, how big of an impact has he had on the fans and the city of Houston as a whole?
Well, Brian and Cool, my brother Cool, I'm gonna tell you this: when you waking up at 3 a.m. on your time, losing sleep and going to training camp and waiting at 4 a.m, you already excited. Everybody knew. He was the hottest coach on the market. When he got into coaching, he turned down Denver twice to coach his team. He turned down Arizona to come. He turned down every opportunity to come
because he's smart.
Coach a better team.
Because he's smart.
Because he wanted to make his own imprint. He wanted to make his own imprint.
He literally came back to an organization that won 10 games in the last 4 years.
He wanted to go somewhere where we had talent.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. And we had the talent. Right. The problem was We had the talent throughout those losses, losing years. We had the talent. We just didn't have a head coach. We just didn't have a head coach. We just didn't have a quarterback. Because Davis Mills show ain't no goddamn quarterback. I know starting quarterback in this league. He showed ain't that. Again, like I say, D'Amico Ryans had a huge impact. He knows defense again, and all young players are out there playing. Tank Dell, you look at Tank Dell. I mean, everybody was like I say again. Everybody saying he was too small. Don't you know how many receivers he was playing better than? He had 700 yards before he got hurt. He was playing better than Davante Adams. He was playing better. Davante Adams considered one of the top 5 receivers in the league, and that little guy was playing better than Davante Adams, having a better season than Davante Adams than most. Yeah, he was having a damn better season than Justin Jefferson.
He had a better quarterback.
Yes. What? That just shows you if you got your cornerstone.
He had a better quarterback.
Yeah. If you have your quarterback, I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. If you have that quarterback of the future, you always will have an opportunity to win. If you have a quarterback, you always will have a good shot to win. But the vibe that D'Amico Ryans changed in the locker room and him knowing defense, being able to improve this run defense, us adding Sheldon Rankins and Malik Collins, 2 big guys in the middle, and having Darius Stingley to play the way he plays, Steven Nelson play the way he plays, and him being able to make adjustments.
He was terrible with Philly, but y'all got to do ball. But he was terrible with Philly, bro.
He been very good the last 2 years with us, and like I say, man, the vibe has changed. I saw it start in training camp, everything and all that, and like I say, I love D'Amico Ryans. He definitely changed the culture of this team. Hannah McNair, everybody in the building happy and all that. We got fans coming to the game just to watch this team. And like I say, man, I'm just happy to have D'Amico Ryans, and every Houston fan was happy the moment we named it D'Amico Ryans, the coach of this team. Same thing with Ime Udoka from Houston. Everybody was happy because we already knew what we were getting. We already knew what type of coach we were getting. And like I say, the vibe just changed. And like I say, I'm just so excited, man. I'm so excited.
I'm so happy for you and your team being excited. To Philadelphia, as we close up shop today, the NFC East champion, I beg your pardon, will be the number 2 seed.
Can I give a shout out? Can I give a shout out real quick?
Yes.
So I also want to shout out Lane Johnson. I also want to shout out Landon Dickerson, Jason Kelsey, a guy who never gets the ball but still managed to get over 1,000 yards running the ball, and DeAndre Swift and AJ Brown. And in my opinion, there was one guy that snubbed. Ain't nobody a better field goal kicker than my kicker. Period. Because this man be put in some tough situations with this stupid coaching staff and his poor execution, and he still be busting them big ones. Jake Elliott deserves to be in the Pro Bowl, but it's all good because the guy that made it is not garbage. But like I said, I just want to shout that out, man. Shout it out. Jake Elliott, you should be there. Also, one statement I want to leave everybody with. I am very upset with my team. I'm very unhappy. I'm pissed at how they're playing. But I understand that there is a great amount of talent on this team. It's being misused. If that talent decides to say, F it all, we just going to go out there and ball. We sick of this. We sick of losing. We sick of this dude telling us stupid things, and they just go out there and play football. You never know.
Yeah.
We about to be 0-0 next week. We win Sunday. We show we got a little bit of fire. Somehow Dallas loses because they have lost the Commanders. Then we got a chance to be number 2. If Dallas wins, it's a wrap for us. We're number 5. We're playing probably the Tampa Bay or Atlanta, teams that we should beat, but we should have beat Arizona Cardinals. So everything's up in the air. But if these guys play the way they need to play, they can still make some noise in the playoffs. My expectations, my expectations before the season, my expectations about halfway through the season was we need to fix this and get back to the Super Bowl. We never fixed it. So now the only hope we have, and real as it can be, is if they get on a run and they just get hot. That can't happen. It's happened multiple times, but I'm not holding my breath.
After Wednesday night, made that abundantly clear. Eagles win and the Cowboys lose. The Eagles are the number 2 seed. If the reverse happens, the Cowboys are the number 2 seed. Lot to play out in week 18. Let me thank Coach Dante and Cool McCain for, lighting my seat on fire and my chair on fire and everything else on fire. And it needed to be, especially with what I planned and didn't plan correctly. And we're going to get on out of here. That's the Cool and Coach Hour presented by BetUS.com. Thank you, gentlemen. Love you, gentlemen, very much. And thank you. Thank you so much. Let's get on out of here. Have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, they're simply not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. We are, and we hope y'all are too. We are out of here, and we'll see you tomorrow.